What's up, guys? I've noticed that my rocket jumping tutorial videos have been getting quite a decent number of views, and when I went back to watch them, I noticed that the sound quality, especially on what I'm saying, is really god-awful. So I'm gonna make a new set of tutorials. Well, I'm gonna take what I did, all those videos, and cram them into one video. So I'm just going to go through the basics. I'm going to do a little bit on air strafing, and also using walls is what I've covered in my tutorials, and I'll give a few general soldier tips as well. Please keep in mind I haven't played TF2 as seriously as I was back then, so it might take me a little bit to get back into the groove of things. Anyway, let's start with the basics. First off, there are two kinds of rocket jumps. There's if you want to jump for vertical height, and then there's also if you want to jump for distance, so you jump more horizontally. So now, the basics of just jumping in general is you're going to jump, and while you're jumping, you're going to shoot a rocket underneath you, and the rocket's going to propel you. That's the basic. So if you wanted to just jump for height, you're going to look pretty much straight down, jump, crouch jump, pretty much. You already know how to crouch jump, I hope. You crouch jump, and you shoot at your feet while, say, you're moving forward. So if I wanted to get up onto that point, I would just jump and look down and shoot a rocket at my feet. Just like that. Now, that's really simple. If you don't crouch jump, by the way, if you didn't know this, if you don't crouch jump, you won't go as high. So if I don't crouch, I'm not going to make it up onto the point. As opposed to with a crouch jump, I go a bit higher, and I can make it all the way up on top of the spire point. Now, what I was saying earlier about horizontal jumping, jumping for distance, that's a little bit trickier than just your basic, vertical jump, because it requires you to shoot the rocket behind you more. So you kind of have to do a 180 and snap back and shoot a rocket further back. So the rocket, instead of being straight under you and propelling you up, it's more behind you and it propels you forward. So you kind of have to really give this snap backwards. So as you're moving, you quickly snap back while you're jumping and shoot the rocket just behind you more. Alright, so another thing I like to cover in my tutorial was the crouch jumping. As I said, it makes you go higher when you crouch. Now, what is a situation where you shouldn't crouch? What is a situation where you should versus shouldn't? Honestly, I think you should be crouching always. It's more a question of when to do a vertical jump and when to do a horizontal jump. So here, obviously, if I didn't crouch and I did a vertical jump, sure, that's fine. Me personally, I would never make that jump. If you did do a vertical jump and you crouch, you're gonna have taking, 27 points of falling damage. However, I think you should crouch for this jump. Instead, you should just use a horizontal jump. And besides, if you're doing a vertical jump, you're more likely to get hit by a player, like out of the air while you're flying, because your trajectory is a lot easier to hit. You're not moving as fast. You're doing like a bigger arc, as opposed to horizontal movement, which makes you move pretty quick. Alright, so that's the basics. Vertical jumps, straight down, jump, crouch, shoot. Horizontal jumps, you snap back and shoot behind you. Now, branching from horizontal jumps are using walls. Using walls with a horizontal jump will actually propel you further than just shooting it on the ground behind you. So, The big thing about using the wall is based on where you place your rocket on the wall, from bottom to top, like vertically, will determine how high you go versus how far you go. So if you're shooting really low on the wall, obviously the rocket's going to be lower in proportion to your body, and it will shoot you up higher. If you aim more kind of eye level with it, it's just going to shoot you straight out. So you want to find a kind of a happy medium where you're not going too high, because then you'll just go straight up and kind of go nowhere. And you don't want to aim too high. Wait, did I say too high before? You don't want to aim too low and go straight up. And you don't want to aim too high and not get any height and just go 2 feet and stop. So you really got to play around with that and just really figure out what you're doing. So this is a decent wall to use. So just play around with that. So if you shoot really low on the wall, I'm going really high up, and I take falling damage, which... The thing about falling damage is if you're nailing your rocket jumps perfectly, you will never take falling damage. So with practice comes the ability to not take falling damage from jumping. So then if you aim really too high on the wall, you're just gonna, like, kind of... See, I didn't get much height, and I stopped way earlier than I would have if I aimed a little bit lower. So you really gotta just play around with that, get the feel for it, and it shouldn't be too bad. And here's another example. You can use this wall to get to that corner on the spire point if you do it right. So you just jump off of this wall, and then you could land on this corner and get up to the spire point quickly. Even if I was jumping from this spot here, I use the wall. Walls are everywhere. Know when to use them. Here. Alright. So now, I want to go into air strafing. This is one of the more advanced things that people learn in their rocket jumping. It's extremely important if you want to be a good jumper, a good soldier, because it allows you to really control where you're going when you're flying through the air in a jump. And this is important for A, landing exactly where you want to land. You don't want to just say, oh, I kind of want to land over by the spire and just land in a general area. You want to pick a specific pinpoint location and land exactly there. That's part A for air strafing. 2, it makes you a much harder target to hit when you're in the air. So other soldiers, demo men, scouts, snipers, they're going to have a harder time hitting you if you're strafing. So the first thing about air strafing is don't hold W. I can't tell you how many people have had this epiphany. When you're jumping through the air, you don't want to be holding W. It's just going to kill your jump. You're not going to be able to control where you're going, and you're going to be stuck in a straight line, and it's shitty. What you want to do is, if you're strafing and you want to turn yourself to the left, you're going to have to hold your A key down, and while you're holding your A key, you slowly turn your mouse to the left. And you'll see that you will start to curve to the left. It's the same thing with the right. If you want to turn to the right, you hold your D key, and you slowly turn your mouse to the right. So, if I wanted to just turn left here, I would, okay, say I use this wall, and I'm holding A, and I curved away from the spire and managed to end up over here now. If I want to turn right, oop, I stopped myself way too early. I just, see that? I'm holding my D key, and I'm left, right. So this is really important. And left. Oop, I missed, but left. I mean, that was right, but yeah. Now, on to some general soldier tips, just for my fellow soldiers out there trying to get a little bit better at the game. The most important thing that you can take in a fight is height advantage. Always look for the highest point wherever you are and take that spot. Because your weapon is a rocket launcher. It is much easier for someone to be below you and for you to be able to hit down on the ground and do splash damage to them, as opposed to if someone was up on Spire and you're down here, now you're shooting. If you don't hit them directly, you're not doing damage. They'll just go past the point and into the air. But if you're above someone, even if you miss, you're still going to get some splash damage in. That's really important, especially when fighting other soldiers. If you have the height advantage, chances are you're going to win, unless that soldier's really amazing at hitting you directly with rockets, which is no easy task, trust me. Now, another thing is prioritize your targets. If you see snipers in the back, if you see medics, if you see engineers with sentries, you know, these are things that you can't just sit back and let them go to town. Alright, so let's just say you just capped mid, you're coming through here, and when you turn this corner you see a sniper all the way back on those battlements. You don't want to be just running through this area while he has free reign to shoot you with no consequence. So here's where your jumping comes in. So you're gonna, just as a sample, jump from that choke to here, jump here, skip off Spire Point, fuck his ass up, and then spray your logo and taunt his ass, because he's a bitch for playing sniper. And, just use rocket jumping as a tool. It is the best tool you could have as a soldier, so use it well. Not really going to go into skip jumping, what I just did there, so if you want to learn that, there's probably other tutorials on it. It's not too bad. I'd recommend maybe practicing in jump maps. You'll get better at it. I haven't played in so long that I'm actually terrible at jumping now, but you know. Alright, so I think that covers everything. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope you benefit from this video. Good luck, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to check out my other videos, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, come give me a like and follow on social media to get updates, and check me out on Twitch TV. I stream most days starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, Piper Toilet out.